everyone, welcome to the newest episode of Ask Me About My Draculas, where we explain supernatural books, movies, and TV shows. I'm one of your hosts, Kel McDonald, and I make comics that you can find at kelmcdonald.com.
And I'm another host. My name is Maat Crook, and you can find me on Twitter at MAATCROOK.
And we have a guest this week.
How should I introduce myself? Hi, everybody. I'm Jemma Salome, and I draw stuff. I just draw a lot of stuff.
Find your stuff.
I'm Oxboxer, OXBOXER, on Tumblr and DeviantArt, and I'm Bison Fisticuffs on Twitter. So. Because I couldn't get Oxboxer, because a Russian took it.
Oh.
Thank you, Russia.
So, this week we're going to talk about the movie Wolf. And Jemma, since you have not seen it, what do you think Wolf is about?
Well, just going by the title, I'm hopefully expecting werewolves, because I love werewolves. And but it also is probably going to be terrible, because why would you want to tell me about a good movie?
You saying that you hope it's about werewolves, this is a tangent, but my favorite Amazon 1-star review or 0-star review, there's a site that just collects them. My favorite one is someone gave Wolf of Wall Street 0 stars. Because, quote, there are no wolves in this movie.
Oh my god, that person is me. I did that.
And
wow.
So Wolf is a movie that stars Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer.
And James Spader.
Okay.
It starts at a party for, like, the publisher that Jack Nicholson works at. And you know exactly when this movie came out, because they are talking about that lady in the 90s who cut off her husband's penis and threw it out the car window.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
And actually, it starts a little bit before then. Like, before the party. Really. It starts with Jack Nicholson just sitting in a car, driving.
Uh-huh.
I thought he... Yeah, okay. I thought he, that came after the party. But,
No, it's
so
before
he's
the
driving
party.
his car, and he hits an animal.
That was an animal that was just standing in the middle of the road, like a taxidermy.
Yeah, and then it, like, moves in the most animatronic, mechanical way possible while on the ground injured.
Yes.
So it's very clearly a fake animal.
Okay. Well, okay, so they can do the no animals were hurt during the making of this.
Yes. So he hit this animatronic taxidermied animal.
No animatronics were hurt.
And he gets out of his car to see if it's okay.
And the animatronic animal opens its creepy eye and then closes it back to pretend like it's asleep.
Yeah, so this animal is, like, trying to lull him into a false sense of security while he checks to see if it's okay.
Yep.
I mean, like,
And then it bites him and runs away.
Yes, and Jack runs away into his car. And by the way, I'm going to refer to them as the actor names because they hardly ever say the character names in the movie, and I didn't write them down.
I think Jack Nicholson's character might also be named Jack.
Ah. But Michelle Pfeiffer's character is probably not named Michelle.
No.
Although that would be creepy.
Yeah.
It would add to the overall.
Yeah, so then we have the party, and you find out Jack Nicholson works in publishing.
He's an editor-in-chief.
Yes. And James Spader is his, like, protege who he's taught him everything he knows.
Yes.
And then at the party that their new boss is throwing, new boss.
At his mansion.
Yeah, new boss's mansion is
Of course.
where the party takes place. And then new boss tells Jack Nicholson, "Oh, FYI, we're demoting you and moving you. We're either firing you or you can take a job in Eastern Europe where no one wants to go."
Yes.
And he goes, "And we're doing this because your protege bugged the shit out of me for your job."
Yes. Yeah.
So
And then after he says this, then he walks over to some horses that are just standing in a lawn.
yeah, then his boss is like, "Oh, now that I've given you that terrible news, come look at my awesome horses I just bought."
What
I have them lined up in a row.
And then the horses freak out because Jack Nicholson got close to them.
Yeah.
Okay. This is pretty aces so far. If you consider aces, I don't get it.
Then Michelle Pfeiffer yells at Jack Nicholson for scaring the horses.
Okay.
And offers him a like he stumbles upon her. He gets like dizzy or something, and he stumbles upon her in some other part of the mansion, and she gives him her
alcohol and drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And then when he when he stands up, he gets dizzy again, and
he accidentally grabs her boob.
Yes.
Wow, this is like, when did you say this was made again?
1994.
Yeah, it's really 90s so far.
So then, like, Jack Nicholson goes back to the main part of the party, and he's talking to a lady that we learn is his wife, and his wife is super mad at him that, like, he kind of rolled over and took this demotion / firing. And that he also didn't do anything about his protege betraying him.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even confront James Spader about it.
Yeah.
So on the ride home, his wife is, like, berating him for being a pushover.
Well, what's he supposed to do? I mean, hey, you're fired. No, you can't fire me. I'll fight you. What are you supposed to do? What?
I guess she wanted him to have a fist fight with James Spader's character.
She wanted him to punch out James Spader, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, like, wanting to punch out James Spader I don't feel like is unreasonable, but, like...
He is very smarmy in this movie.
Oh, yeah. He's just full of all the smarm.
Yeah.
Does he even play non-smarmy characters? Like...
No, there was that one time in, I think, Stargate.
Oh, yeah. Yes. In Stargate, he's mostly just a brainy nerd.
Yeah. That is the one time he was not smarmy.
I don't think I've seen non-smarmy Stargate James Spader.
So,
Huh.
If this were Ask Me About My
James Spader, we could tell you all about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then
Then the next day, Jack Nicholson sleeps all day into 7:40 at night.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
It's like, first his alarm goes off, and he's like, "Give me 5 more minutes," and the alarm went off at like 7:30.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up at 7:45, and he's like, "Oh, you let me sleep too long.
No, she comes in and she says, "Honey, why are you still in bed?" And he looks at the clock and he's all, "It's only 7:40. I said, give me 30 minutes. And she's all, "It's 7:40 at night."
Yes.
So then he's like,
This wouldn't have happened if we were on military time.
He's like, maybe I should get this random animal bite checked out.
He unbandages his hand and he has a hairy palm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that I don't think that means what they think it means.
Yeah.
So
I think that means something else.
goes to the doctor to get like checked out for rabies.
Do they do the Harry Palms joke?
No.
No.
Wow, that is a missed opportunity.
I mean, other than the fact that they gave him a hairy palm, they
But they
didn't
don't.
say
If you
anything about
if you don't say it, I mean, come on. It's the easiest joke.
So yeah, so he goes to the doctor, and um, the doctor has a line that I think is really weird. Because the doctor's like, you really should get this stuff checked out because, like, my friend's son got bit by an animal, and then next thing you know, he has brain damage. And then Jack Nicholson goes, is he all right? And he goes, who? Your friend's son. And it's like, no, he has brain damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's the weirdest piece of dialogue ever.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he got better from the brain
It's like,
damage.
yeah, it's like, yeah, Jack Nicholson, did
It's
you expect him
okay.
to get better from brain damage?
It's okay. They got him a new brain.
So after he goes to the doctor, he finds out that all his senses are heightened. He has better smelling where he can smell alcohol in people's breath. He has better hearing. He has 20/20 vision now.
Well, it was, I like that he passes by the guy who apparently had tequila in his coffee,
Mm-hmm.
and he tells him that he could smell it. And then he goes in, and his secretary is really sad that, like, his secretary's a delightful old lady, and then his assistant is Niles Crane. I don't...
Yes. Yeah.
What? This is the most surreal sounding crap ever.
And they're both like,
I
we're
feel like
sorry.
you just made up this movie.
Okay, you got us. We tried to think of every 90s actor and
It's like,
So, like, they're all sad, and, like, we don't want to move to Eastern Europe, but obviously, like, it's kind of weird. Like, they're sort of like, they don't want to berate him like his wife does, but they're all like, we should really fuck over James Spader.
yeah. Yeah, they're into it.
Then, Jack Nicholson proofreads a bunch of manuscripts really quickly, so apparently one of your werewolf superpowers is speed reading.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, okay. And does he shoot web and sense danger now too, or?
I don't know. That doesn't come up, but he read all these manuscripts without his glasses.
Oh.
And that's what makes him think something's weird, so he steps out into, like, the main hallway, and then he can hear everyone in, like, the building talking.
But not in his office. He couldn't hear everyone talking in his office. Only when he went out into the hall.
Why that he has to, like, focus, because I actually really like this shot where it's, like, Jack Nicholson is on, like, some banister railing thing, and his ears are, like, slightly moving.
Yeah, like they have little strings attached to them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds like the worst thing.
It was pretty gross looking.
Ew.
And it's like, as his ears move, it like focuses in on different conversations.
Yeah.
Because I remember like seeing somebody who could like independently move their ears, and it was just the most disgusting thing I'd ever seen.
This was like that to another level.
Oh God. Oh, ears shouldn't move on people.
Like if that's a level 10, it was turned up to 11.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Also, when he gets home, it turns out being a wolf, he's more amorous and possessive
He's ready
now.
to get busy.
Of course. Of course.
And he's more possessive, where before he didn't care so much. Now he's very possessive. And he, after having sex with his wife, he puts away her robe and he smells something on it.
No,
Oh.
that's a different scene.
Ah,
Okay.
Because what happens is, later on, he like is making plans with her, and she's like, "I'm not coming home tonight."
yeah, that's
And
true.
then he like is cleaning up, and he smells her jacket or something, and then he rushes over to James Spader's house, bangs on the door,
Yeah,
and
wait,
finds his
he
wife
lumbers.
sleeping with James Spader.
Yeah.
Oh my
He
God.
lumbers there like a gorilla on two legs, too.
Yeah.
It
So-
makes him walk funny.
Yeah,
And he bounds up the stairs on all fours.
yeah. He also, like, when James Spader answers the door, he bites James Spader.
Oh, yeah, that's
Wait,
right. That's a
what?
very important thing to say. Yeah, he bit James Spader on the hand or something again.
Because James Spader, like, didn't want to let him in.
For 2 now?
That comes up later.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Oh, I'm so worried now.
So so James Spader like doesn't want to let him in and is trying to like placate him, so he bites James Spader, pushes open the door, and then sees his wife. And I like that he doesn't like go into a rage or whatever. He just like looks super
walks away.
disappointed, walks away, and is like, "Don't come home." And
Yeah.
so I didn't read him
Wait,
as
does he have kids with her?
no.
No.
Okay, well, thank God for that then.
So, like, I didn't see him as possessive because there's the sex scene, and then there's like him finding his wife in another man's bed or whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
That is just this. How far are we into the movie now?
Maybe 15 minutes?
Good Lord.
no, this is
No, it's more? Okay.
so now that he has like, he now knows that James Spader is enemy number one in all things in his life.
Yes.
He comes into work the next day and is like, "We're gonna call every single author that I work with and have a good personal relationship with, and I'm going to tell them that we're going to start a new publishing company and take all the best-selling authors with us, so they won't work with this publishing company unless they put me more in charge, give me back my old job."
Yeah.
And so this is him, like, this is how he
Taking
gets
charge.
not fired.
And he goes to his boss's mansion
Yeah.
later on.
He goes to his boss's mansion to talk about how he's doing this, and the boss is all like, "And writers are idiots, so they don't know how terrible a business plan this is." And he's like, "So they'll actually follow through, and I guess we better promote you, you son of a bitch," or whatever.
Okay.
And then when he leaves, he finds out that Michelle Pfeiffer is the rebellious daughter of the boss.
Yeah. And then he goes over to say hi to Michelle Pfeiffer, but she's horseback riding, and she almost falls off her horse.
She does. The horse throws her off.
And so she yells at Jack Nicholson for scaring the horse, because shouldn't you have figured out by now that horses don't like you?
Yes.
Because that comes up so much in daily life.
I know.
That horses may
In
not
this
like.
high-powered Manhattan lifestyle, he comes up against horses not liking him all the time.
Oh. And then to spite her father, she decides to have dinner with Jack Nicholson.
Because she knows that her dad is not a fan of this guy that almost stole all their best-selling authors.
Yeah. And so they go have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Because that's the only thing she knows how to make.
This is okay. This seems like a weird part to get hung up on, but they couldn't go to a restaurant. No?
Because, like, the mansion's, like, this dude owns, like, acres.
Yeah.
They don't have a cook.
Mm,
I
she's
think
a rebellious daughter. She has her own
like
little granny
refuses
flat,
to
but
use the servants, except she still lives there.
yeah.
I'm so confused.
Her character is very confusing.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
And I guess it'll. Well, no, they really could have gone out to have dinner. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe because they spent so much money. The film crews spent so much money being able to have the mansion. They didn't. They're all okay. All scenes are here or in the publishing house, but that's it. That's all the places
There's
we're
also
going.
the scene in the park.
That's true. So
Um,
3 places. That's all we can afford.
so then
He
he
just.
has dinner with Michelle Pfeiffer,
Mhm.
and that night something comes over him, and he decides to run through the woods and do his impression of Wolverine.
Well, he does tell her that he got bit by a wolf, and he thinks that something passed along to him in the bite.
Like rabies.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, FYI, I might have rabies. The doctor says I don't, but I feel really weird, so I don't know.
I'd be apprehensive about banging him.
No.
I just like
They
for
don't
me.
have sex yet,
Okay.
They just because he has to go run through the woods.
And he doubles over in pain, and she just puts him to bed.
Yeah, so
Instead of calling like the hospital.
Yeah.
After he told her he might have rabies.
Mm-hmm. Well, he
Okay.
didn't say he has rabies. He said something much more supernatural, that now he feels more alive and great, but he's afraid that it will come with a price.
right. So then he runs through the woods and does his impression of Wolverine.
Yeah.
That's the only way to describe it, is he acts like he's Wolverine in the X-Men, and he just runs through the woods. And then there's a
Speaks with
part
a
where he
vague
kills
Canadian
it.
accent.
Huh?
And speaks with a vague Canadian accent.
No.
No.
He doesn't say
I
anything. He kills a deer with his bare hands,
Oh,
and then he
gross.
wakes up the next morning covered in blood, and goes to the hospital and says, "Doctor, I think there's something wrong with me."
Yeah.
No shit.
Michelle Pfeiffer calls him to yell at him for taking off in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And the doctor tells him that he probably sleepwalked and hit his head, and that's why he was covered in blood, because the scalp bleeds real easily.
Yeah. So then that night he's all depressed, and he's in a hotel, yeah. And he looks out onto the city and hears animal noises, and then the next scene is him lumbering to the zoo.
But first, Michelle Pfeiffer on the phone is like drying her hair with a towel, and he can hear that over the phone.
Yeah.
And he makes plans to see her the next evening.
At the zoo, when he's looking at some animals, presumably to eat them, Chandler from Friends.
No, not Chandler, it's Ross.
It's Ross? Ross.
Oh, the even worse person from Friends.
The
Okay.
least capable friend of taking on a werewolf.
The least friendly friend.
Yeah. So he tries to arrest him because there's just been reports of a crazy guy pacing through the zoo after close.
Wait, he's a cop?
Yeah, he's a cop.
Ross from Friends is a cop.
Who cast that?
I think they were like, who will be the most ineffectual cop ever? And
Sure found him. Jesus.
because he tries to arrest him, and then Jack Nicholson just pulls away and like does a super jump, and Ross just stands there and is like, he took my handcuffs.
Yeah.
And then a guy tries to mug him.
It's like the only people of color, I think, in the whole movie are the muggers.
That's
Of
not
course.
true, because the mugger's mom is at the police station later.
That's true.
Wait, what?
So
The only people of color.
these guys try to mug Jack Nicholson, and Jack Nicholson, like, bites their fingers off.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh,
So the reason why I said that the mugger's mother is in the film is because, like, near the end of the film, there's a shot in a police station where there's an older black lady going, if some white boy's fingers got ripped off, we'd have cops all over the place.
Yeah.
You're ignoring my son.
Which is so true. And yet, this awareness by the writer still didn't pass through to any casting.
So,
I'm thoroughly alarmed.
and he doesn't know that he bit off the mugger's fingers until he gets to work,
yeah.
where his
So at
boss,
work, James Spader confronts him.
or he confronts James Spader.
No, because it was Jack Nicholson is peeing. And this is when
Oh, that's right.
James Spader confronts him in the
I never
men's
wanted to hear.
room and is all like, I've just been fired and it's all your fault.
That's right.
Fuck you, how could you do this to me? And then Jack Nicholson pees on James Spader.
Yeah, speeds on his
Is
shoes.
this like a comedy movie or like a horror thing, or what are they going for tonally?
I feel like certain scenes are definitely supposed to be funny, and certain scenes are definitely supposed to be scary.
Uh-huh.
But it's not. Neither one of those things are really accomplished super well.
Um,
I'm getting that.
I don't know. I thought that Jack Nicholson peeing on James Spader's shoes was hilarious. So, James Spader storms off now with pissed-on shoes.
Yeah.
And Jack Nicholson says that he was marking his territory, and James Spader just better get out of the way. And then, while washing his hands, Jack Nicholson, like, goes to, I guess, pull a handkerchief out of his pocket
For some reason,
for
yeah.
some reason to, like, wipe his hands off. I guess the paper towels in the men's room are not good enough.
He's
But-
now super sensitive to towel texture as well.
Yeah. But wrapped in his handkerchief are the fingers of the mugger.
Yeah.
Wait, so he was a beast, but he didn't like
He didn't eat the
swallow
fingers.
he
Just
didn't eat the
kept them?
fingers.
He just kept them.
Yes.
He just like
Wrapped them up for later.
as a
Finger
little yeah, finger food. Yeah.
So
Okay.
so then
He goes to the hotel and handcuffs himself to the radiator.
first this is the only other person of color that he meets, the Indian guy.
Oh yeah, that's
oh boy,
right.
this is gonna be really racist, isn't it?
It wasn't like on the scale of racism.
It wasn't like Indiana Jones level.
Yeah, it wasn't Indiana Jones level. Like, he has a British accent, and he's an expert on, like, mythological stuff.
Oh, and he actually
okay.
is an Indian actor. So okay, he is a person of color.
Okay, I guess I can deal with this.
But he is cast as like a
Mystic or whatever.
mystic writer.
Yeah. So,
Well,
he's the one
it's
that
the 90s.
tells Jack Nicholson, FYI, you're a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
This story, werewolves don't go back and forth. It's just he's slowly becoming a werewolf until the full moon, when he'll be just full wolf all the time.
Oh, All right, that sucks. That's a really sucky role.
So he's like, I have this amulet that can stop you from turning into a wolf. But I would like you to bite me because I have cancer.
Yeah.
So he'd rather be a dog
Well,
and have cancer?
I think I thought that he was
Well,
saying
would it?
that the werewolfism would be permanent, not that you would be a wolf.
Okay.
I
Wait.
thought it was implied that he would never change back, but either
Yeah, I
way,
didn't get that.
either
Yeah,
way, this Indian guy
wants to get rid of his cancer,
he thinks
despite
that
the consequences.
werewolfism is the way out of cancer.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
and he
I guess
doesn't
that's
have any
reasonable.
problem. He doesn't have a problem
also-
biting people and killing people.
Well, he also tells Jack Nicholson well, the wolf is not evil; it's an animal.
Yeah.
And so if it's evil, then that means you're evil. So me as a non-evil person will be just fine as a werewolf. That is the Indian guy with cancer's spiel.
Yeah.
all right.
Jack Nicholson does not bite him.
He does not bite him because that's super weird,
Yes.
but he does take the amulet.
Yeah.
Wait, so he doesn't save the guy with cancer.
Right.
He does not.
Well, okay, what a dick.
So Jack Nicholson, now that we know that, if you actually, look back at whenever Jack Nicholson wolfed out, he killed the deer, and then the mugger attacked him.
And so he
That was in self-defense. So he has not killed anyone. He's killed a deer to eat, but no people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine.
And then he puts on the amulet thingy, and then he handcuffs himself to the radiator of the hotel, which is when Michelle Pfeiffer shows up and is like, this is crazy nonsense. And
she picks the lock because she's a rebel, remember?
yeah, she's a juvenile delinquent. Or was.
And then they have sex.
Yeah, I was like, there's no situation in which Michelle Pfeiffer in the 90s could walk in on you tied up on something and have it not end up as a sex scene.
Yeah, she's like, we're going to have the kinkiest sex now because you have handcuffs.
Yeah, she does handcuff his hands behind his back, and then they have sex.
Okay, well, at least they didn't miss that opportunity.
Then, it shows them about to have sex, cut away, and then it shows Jack Nicholson's wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, walking through the park, and you hear a howl, and then cops show up at the hotel room to be like, hey, Jack Nicholson, your wife was totes murdered last night. Where were you?
Yeah.
It is not Ross Geller. Ross Geller is not the cop that comes to tell him.
No.
Though that would have been funnier.
And Michelle Pfeiffer stands up for him because she is convinced that he was with her the entire night.
And he's all like, I could have snuck out while you were asleep, so I probably killed my wife.
Yeah.
That's what?
Jack Nicholson thinks he killed his wife.
He's convinced he killed his wife.
And Michelle Pfeiffer's like, no, because we were having sex all night.
Yeah. You slept with me right next to the bed.
Also, can I point out the wonderful weirdness of, Catwoman banging a dog dude?
Catwoman banging the Joker.
Oh, the Joker as a dog dude.
Oh, God, that makes it a million times worse. All of this is bad.
It's very furry.
Ugh.
That made it even
Zootopia 90s edition.
So, also, this is a thing that I forgot. The Indian guy, as well as telling him that not all werewolves are evil. He also says not everyone becomes a werewolf when they get bit by a wolf. They have to have, like, a certain wolfishness before. So the mugger is probably not a werewolf.
I didn't consider that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like being a mugger would make you extra wolfy because you're, like, hunting and attacking people in a pack.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you've got the, like, sort of the pack dynamic. I feel like that would really, like...
More so than Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, more so than Jack Nicholson, who is just sort of a Wall Street person.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And weird. You don't
So,
turn
like,
into a werewolf unless you're the main character.
That's them kind of like, if anyone asked, hey, writers, is the mugger now a werewolf too? That's them being like, no, because we said, like, not everyone becomes a werewolf. He also brings up that if you have sex with a werewolf, you could possibly become a werewolf.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh, shit.
He refers to it as the passions of a wolf.
Oh, I do remember him saying that.
To get more into furry nonsense.
Where did you find this shit again? Okay.
Then it cuts to James Spader being at his boss's mansion, again convincing him to get his job back.
Yeah, so James Spader gets his job back, and then is like, hey, apropos of nothing, what happens if Jack Nicholson quits his job? Like, who's his successor? And he's like, oh, Jack Nicholson gets to pick who gets his job after him. That's his contract. And then James Spader's like, and is that contract still valid if Jack Nicholson is a murderer?
Yes.
No reason.
Yeah.
What?
And then they turn on the TV and there's a news thing about
Jack Nicholson's wife being murdered. So, then,
so that's not suspicious at all.
Yeah, that's not suspicious at all, James Spader. Then we get Jack Nicholson, like, because he's super worried about being a werewolf. Michelle Pfeiffer is like, well, my dad's giant, huge mansion, there's a whole lot of nothing around it. Yeah. So why don't we lock you up
with the horses in the barn?
Yeah. Because then, like, if there's weird animal noises, we can just dismiss it as the horses being weird.
He's gonna eat the horses.
So, and the horses aren't gonna freak out at all.
Yeah, so the horses, of course, immediately freak out.
But wait. Before he gets locked in the barn, though, Michelle Pfeiffer is driving him to the mansion, and she's still convinced that he hasn't done it. And he even says to her, what if I did do it? And she's all, no. You couldn't have because you were with me. She's convinced. And then he falls asleep and puts his feet up on the dash, and they're covered in mud. And then she's all, oh shit.
Maybe
he is the werewolf.
So then,
so after she locks him up in the barn, then she calls the police and says that she's going to come in to talk to them.
Well, she also says, hey, so you mentioned that there were fibers on the dead body, like, do you know the results of those yet? And he's like, and the cop says, oh, some lab tech probably screwed up because there's dog DNA in the hairs or whatever, so all these hairs are useless.
All the DNA is useless, yeah.
And so she's like, right, canine stuff mixed in with human stuff. And she goes, I think I'll come to the police station and make a statement.
And when she gets there, James Spader is there.
So when she gets there, that's when we get the mugger's mom talking about her son missing fingers.
Yeah.
How many fingers was the poor guy missing?
I think it was like 2.
Yeah.
God.
The ring and the pinky.
Oh no. I feel really sorry for that guy.
Yeah.
And
But
when
James Spader is super creepy
he
in
is,
PlayStation.
he sniffs her crotch.
Yeah.
Wait, how does that even happen?
So, like, it's now nighttime, and it's supposed to be the full moon, so this is when they're gonna finally turn into wolves. And James Spader's eyes are, like, super crazy yellow, like, inhumanly yellow.
The same color.
He has sideburns.
Yeah. His eyes are the same color as the animatronic dog at the beginning of the movie, or animatronic wolf that got hit by the car.
So, and then he also has, like, crazy sideburns suddenly. And, that's when it's like the movie finally lets you put it together that James Spader this whole time has also been wolfing out.
And probably killed.
He
Jack
definitely
Nicholson's wife.
killed the wife.
Yeah. And then he sniffs Michelle Pfeiffer and sniffs her crotch.
Yeah. And
I'm
then he
thoroughly
goes in to make
horrified.
his statement. And Michelle Pfeiffer, like, immediately leaves the police station.
Yeah.
Because she's like, okay, I need to go check on my werewolf now that I know that this guy's weird.
My werewolf.
And she calls while she's driving, she calls for 2 tickets, 2 plane tickets somewhere.
Yeah.
That's
So
not suspicious at all.
while she's
running away. She knows that James Spader is a threat.
yeah, so James Spader. Also, what's interesting is James Spader like has a line while talking to Michelle Pfeiffer where he's like, "I think you know what's happening to me."
Yeah.
So like, I would really like to know James Spader's character's side of the story because he doesn't have the weird animal bite to connect to all his weird behavior.
Yeah, he has a human bite.
Yeah. So, like, and he also didn't see the Mystic Indian guy.
That we know of
right.
anyway.
So he's just been going about his publishing career and then, like, having
And waking
weird
up in,
wolf
like, the woods or in the park.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, shit. That was... Sorry, my computer made a noise.
So James Spader goes in and makes a statement to the police, and he, like, sits in the chair weird like he's a dog.
And he's slowly turning more and more into a wolf, which doesn't seem to alarm the police at all.
They just think he's on drugs or something.
Well, a reasonable assumption.
Because the cops do have, like, a what a weirdo or whatever line when he leaves.
Yeah.
But yeah, James Spader is like, Jack Nicholson totally did it. He called me on the phone, said that he did it.
And but you skipped. He started out with the fact that James Spader had a three-way with Jack Nicholson and his wife.
Yeah.
Oh, that is something I never want to visualize. That is the worst visual that's ever entered my brain.
Yeah, so James Spader is like, yeah, Jack Nicholson, his wife, and I, we were totes doing it all the time. But
This is so
Jack
gross.
just wanted her all to himself, so he murdered her, and then he confessed to me, and I'm very heartbroken to tell you all this. And then the cops are like, well, the case is closed.
Where's Michelle Pfeiffer? She was going to give us a statement, too.
And then they're like, it doesn't matter because we have all this lovely confession from James Spader.
But James Spader is where is Michelle Pfeiffer? And he looks out, and she's gone. Yeah. He's upset to see that she is gone, and chases after her.
So then Michelle Pfeiffer goes to check on Jack Nicholson, and in the barn while the horses are freaking out. And then James Spader shows up.
Is there a wolf fight? Just
There
tell me
is
if
a wolf fight.
Oh, excellent.
First, there is Michelle Pfeiffer struggling to let Jack Nicholson out.
Yeah.
But Jack Nicholson is not wolfing out because he has the amulet thing. So he has to, like, take off the amulet so he can wolf fight James Spader. And in doing that, he's now a wolf forever or whatever.
Yeah.
So he, like, gave up his humanity to save her.
Oh, now that's just beautiful.
But
In like a shitty way.
and so then there's, like, super wolf fight.
Yeah. So, werewolf. They're not full canine looking.
There's a lot of, like, crazy
Crazy.
jumping and, like...
Yes. And rolling on the ground.
Well, there's, like, animal noise sound effects added. Yeah.
Is the fight edited in any way like intelligibly? Like you could theoretically make out what was happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they
it's
don't just
not
do
like
a bunch of like fast, shaky shots close up?
No, it's a lot of goofy, like, them jumping in slow motion.
It's a lot of wires and stuff.
Man alive. That sounds amazing.
And then so one of the wire shots is when Jack Nicholson throws James Spader really far, and James Spader hits his head on some stairs, and Jack Nicholson turns his back on him, thinking that he's dead or something. But of course, James Spader wakes up and grabs a pair of gardening shears and flies in the air.
With the gardening shears. Right?
But Michelle Pfeiffer shoots him.
Yeah. So
She had a gun the whole time?
it was, like, in the house. So
Yeah.
during
She
the
had a
werewolf
gun
fight,
the whole time though.
her priorities were get Jack Nicholson out of the cage so he's not a sitting duck, then go get the gun.
Yeah. And then, so after James Spader is actually dead, then Jack Nicholson in his werewolf form lumbers up to Michelle Pfeiffer, touches her face, and then he runs into the woods.
And then
Very
he turns
touching.
into an animatronic wolf.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And then the police are investigating the dead James Spader in Michelle Pfeiffer's backyard.
Oh, yeah.
And she casually comes out with makeup on, her hair
And
done.
it's all like, oh, I heard shouting, but I stayed inside and locked the doors or whatever. And
Yeah.
they're all like, well, it looks like Jack Nicholson and what's his name fought in your backyard, and did you know that Jack Nicholson bought you and him tickets somewhere, so maybe he was planning to kidnap you, or and she was like, and she says something that's like, well, he was too old and boring anyway, so I broke it off after you came by.
Yeah.
And then the cop makes like a comment that's like, you seem too wild for him or something like that.
Yeah.
And then she tells the cop that
She asked, does he
ask him
want
if
another
he
vodka
would like
tonic?
another drink. So this cop is drinking on the job, and she can suddenly smell it on his breath.
Yes.
Oh, no.
And then the very end of the movie is a bunch of long shots on her eyes
Like,
with the
her
wolf
eyes
context.
overlaid on the woods or whatever, and her eyes like slowly turn yellow.
Yeah.
And this is this movie.
End of the movie. Yeah, that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So Michelle Pfeiffer and Jack Nicholson are gonna go be werewolves together.
So really, I can't even articulate.
So to put this into context too, as to when this came out in 1994. I was working at a movie theater, and some of the other movies that came out at the time were Pulp Fiction, The Professional, Shawshank Redemption, Lion King came out at the same time, and it was just Clerks came out, which isn't that great, but still Clerks is better than this.
Well, yeah.
I think this movie's amazing.
I I I have not liked this movie from the time I saw it. And I love supernatural movies, but this, I was just all, oh my gosh, this is awful.
Pulp
This is
Fiction.
Yeah.
I was actually I was talking to Molly Zoon about this a few days ago. But the thing that I did like about Wolf is the slow build-up to him being a werewolf. But like that is hard to pull off if it's not like a B plot in another thing. Because if someone isn't interested in that, then it gets to be a really boring movie for a really long time.
Yeah. I found it pretty boring and silly.
I want to see this terrible movie now.
It's worth a watch. It's the kind of movie that you could have on in the background while you're working.
Oh my God, I don't even know what to ask. But like, what does their life as wolves together consist of now?
I don't know. They're wolves in the woods doing wolf things.
I guess just a lot of doggy style.
Yes.
Listen, she's into the kinky stuff.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh. I'm sort of speechless. Like,
I just like think that the movie starting where like one of the first conversations that you're in is discussing a lady cutting off her husband's dick.
Yes.
I'm like, that sets the tone for the whole movie.
yeah, geez. I want to know who signed off on this. Like, I want their email so I can ask them lots of questions.
All right. I own it, so I can read you who is the director and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I can tell you that, too.
You need to know who's responsible.
Written by Jim Harrison and Wesley Strict, and directed by Mike Nichols. And I don't know who any of those people are, and that might be why they...
Jim Harrison wrote Legends of the Fall, a movie called Revenge. I've heard of Legends of the Fall, but
I want to look at these people's IMDb's and just
I'm gonna read you the back of my DVD case. Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer star in Wolf, a wickedly funny, wildly romantic white-knuckle thriller. James Spader, Kate Niglin, Christopher Plummer, and David Hyde Pierce co-star in this beastly tale of love, betrayal, of equal measures, humor, passion, and delicious terror.
Oh, okay. I'm getting over my horror a little.
They were clearly trying to go for both horror and comedy, but...
Well, it's like I'm sort of crossing over into like, okay, this sounds terrible, but let's be realistic. How many good werewolf movies do you know about?
Werewolf expert. I'm going to tell you.
there are better ones.
Werewolf movies are the original Wolfman.
Yeah, which I think there were some nods to that.
And that's it.
I vaguely remember liking Ginger Snaps when I was 13.
Yeah.
And that's all I got.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, is this out of place for the werewolf genre?
It is not.
No, it's not.
I guess, I mean, that doesn't make it better, but it makes it more understandable.
It's funny that where they're like, what job should this werewolf have?
Publishing.
Publishing. Yes. Because that is a thing that's rife with danger.
Ah, yes.
Wesley Strick, one of the other writers, the second writer, he had written Arachnophobia, Cape Fear, and what was the other one? Oh, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, so he's actually got some stuff under his belt.
The other guy didn't so much.
I mean, he doesn't have, like, amazing stuff under his belt. But
No.
at least it's something. I'm just...
I feel like a lot of this movie, I liked it because the characters deliver the lines really well. They deliver their terrible dialogue well.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Jack Nicholson's entire career is basically delivering odd dialogue well. So, like, and just generally being disturbing as a person to look at. So...
I think it's funny that David Hyde Pierce is advertised on the back of my DVD because he's in maybe like 2 scenes.
What does he even do? Did you mention what his role was?
He's like Jack Nicholson's assistant or something. So he's there to kind of be like, curse that James Spader in the beginning. And then when Jack Nicholson reads through the manuscripts, he's like, did you get contacts? Where are your glasses? And then there's where Jack Nicholson comes in and is like, this is our master plan to fuck over James Spader. Like, he has a beautiful delivery of, you are my god! And goes off to help with this master, like, overthrow the system plan.
Yeah.
And that's all he does.
He's great in those, like, 2 scenes.
And they bill him, they give him top billing.
Yes.
Well, okay, that's
he's
pretty
more
90s.
famous than the other people in the movie.
Where was Jack Nicholson in his career at this point?
At the time, he was doing pretty good.
Yeah, he was pretty peak.
This was post Shining.
And so was Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, this is both of them, like, this movie probably made money because they were in it.
Yes, it did.
And I'm just trying to imagine, say, Michelle Pfeiffer, like, in her New York penthouse apartment surrounded by diamonds and then getting this script and being like, yes, this will be my next project.
Jack Nicholson, a werewolf movie? Yes, I will do it. I don't know, that doesn't
Nicholson as a
sound so
romantic
bad.
lead? Yes. I can see myself killing this. Yes.
It doesn't sound so bad, but then I just don't feel like it was executed as well. But that's probably where me and Kel differ. And I love B-rated movies.
See, I do like the slow build-up, but it's like, I understand that if someone is not on board for that, then this is a really boring movie.
I mean, a slow build-up works up when it works when you've got something like Alien or something, when you're really gonna like mess with people when like things hit the fan.
Yeah.
Not like, well, he got bit by an animal, surprise! He was a werewolf.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm shocked. Like, what?
See, that's why I actually think James Spader's point of view would have made for a more interesting movie, because from his perspective, a crazy man bit him on his doorway, and then all this weird shit happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that happens with a lot of these movies. Like the villain's perspective, because they're basically the villain because they have no information, and so they're acting on their zero information. And just okay, let's remake the movie from his perspective.
And I like that they establish that, like, oh, the wolf is only bad. You're only a bad werewolf that's gonna murder people if you're a bad person. So it's basically like James Spader murdered people because he's a bad person to begin with.
I want to know what the thought process was for the werewolf at the beginning of the movie, where he decided they decided they were just going to stand.
That Jack Nicholson's life was terrible. That's the only thing I can think of is that this werewolf sensed this man has a terrible life.
So let's spice it up.
What's this a wolf?
And I'm going to risk my own death to give this man the life of the wild.
Now, where the hell did the werewolf in the first... Where did the first werewolf come from?
I don't know. There was actually at least 2 of them standing in the woods after Jack Nicholson drove away. So the one that had been hit and then another one.
So, it could have been that whenever someone becomes a werewolf, they fuck somebody before they become a werewolf, and then the 2 people go off and be werewolves together.
So this could be like a horrible Michelle Pfeiffer, Jack Nicholson, constant loop.
Yeah.
Of werewolf bitings.
Yeah.
Yeah. That actually makes it slightly more interesting.
I feel like that's probably what they were going for, because it begins with 2 wolves and then it ends with them both going to be wolves. So.
Yeah.
You really got me with this, you guys. Really just I haven't been this speechless in a while.
There's not much that you can really. There's not much else you can say about this movie.
It's werewolf movies, man.
It could be worse. It could be Cursed.
Yeah.
Have you seen Cursed?
Actually, no. I've vaguely heard about it.
The TV show?
No, Cursed is a movie starring Christina Ricci as a werewolf.
Oh no.
I guess we'll have to save that one, and I'll be sure not to watch it.
Christina,
that one is so Wolf is all the adult 90s actors, and Cursed is all the teen late 90s actors.
Let me double check that. I may have seen that.
They had Christina Ricci as a werewolf.
So it's Christina Ricci, Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek is in it. There's this lady who was the bitchy blonde lady in a lot of teen movies. I don't remember her name though.
Christina Ricci is the
Rossi.
Christina Ricci is the most vampire person I can think of.
And then Christina Ricci has a little brother that's played by the guy that's in the Facebook movie. He played Mark Zuckerberg in the Facebook movie.
Zuckerberg.
So yeah, so it's just a whole bunch of teen late 90s actors when they were starting to fall out of favor or hadn't gone on an upswing. But yeah, that is also one where it's hey, there's that guy and that guy and that guy and that guy.
And they're astoundingly miscast as the complete wrong creature for what they look like.
Yeah. We'll save that one for another episode. We've hit our 8-hour mark.
You opened up a whole new world for me.
I have Wolf if you would like to borrow it.
I think I would.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.
I'm glad we could share our Jack Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer wolf adventures. We won't have an episode through the rest of March and then the first week in April that we would do one is Emerald City. So we're not going to have another episode until like April
24th?
Yeah.
I think it's 24th.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but if you're in Seattle, come see me and Kel at Emerald City.
Yep. All right. Thanks again.
Thank you for